Yancha Adonai Yem Tzara, Hashem should answer you on the day of your distress. Yisagevcha Shem Elohei Yankev, he should support you. The name of the God of Jacob should support you. Isha Rezohar Mekaidesh, and send you strength from his holy place. And from Jerusalem, he should help you. You should recall all your devotionals, your offerings. They should be graciously accepted. And he should grant all your heart's requests. And fulfill all your good resolutions. Enable you to keep them. Then we will rejoice and sing because of your salvation. That's the Geula. Uvashem Eloheinu Nidgel. And we'll raise the banner of Hashem on high. Yemali Adonai Kol Mishalesecha. Hashem should fulfill all your heart's requests. Ata Yodaiti, now I know. Ki Hashia Adonai Meshichay, that Hashem saves his anointed one. Yeah, that's David HaMelech. Ya'anehu Mishmei Kodshay, and he answers. He will answer him. He does answer him from his holy heavens. B'gvures, with mightiness. Yesha, salvation. Yemine, from his right hand. They come with weapons of war and cavalry and drones and missiles, and we come with the name of God on our lips and an iron dome. Hema Karuv and Nafalo, they stumbled and fell. Vanachnu Kamnu V'nis Edan, we've outlasted them all. Adonai Hashem Melech Aleinu V'yem Kareinu, Hashem is our God, who should answer us on the day that we call. We're learning Tanya. Does everybody have a Tanya? Starting a new chapter. We have learned so far. Gosh, it's warm in this room. I would suggest turning on the air conditioner, but it's very noisy. A quick basic summary. The most important thing that everybody has to know is, Lisa, that you have a holy neshama. Number one. And if you know that that's what you really are, that's who you really are, everything else falls into place. We also have a godly soul on a lower level, which is connected to us intimately, the godly soul. And we have a human animal soul, a vital soul, an energy soul. And those two are at odds with one another, because the godly soul wants to do godly things, say and learn and teach godly things, the wisdom of God, and to fulfill the will of Hashem, what he desires. When you do something that someone desires, they feel nachas, they feel good about it. When people do not fulfill the desires, your desires, you feel angry, frustrated, aggravation. The animal soul, it seeks its own pleasures, and it discourages the animal soul. Basically hides godliness. It says, no, I am the center of reality. What you can sense with your five senses, that's what's real. The godly soul says, God is real. God is the ultimate reality. Everything else is just a radiance, a nothing, will disappear and be gone. There are 5 levels of the soul with different names. We only learn in the Tanya, in this book of the Tanya, 3 of these levels: the Nefesh, the Ruach, and the Neshama. The Nefesh is intimately connected with your physical life. The Ruach is connected with your emotions. And then the Neshama is the source of your intellect. We want to serve Hashem with all of these levels. We want to do something. We want to do a mitzvah. When we want to do something good, we want to do it on all levels. There are 4, we learned in chapter 1, there are 4 basic elements that make up every physical thing, and they make up also our physical reality and our emotional and spiritual reality as well. And they are called the garments of the soul. Just like you chose your garments this morning from your wardrobe, the soul, you choose for your soul also garments that are appropriate. The animal soul wants to choose garments that are appropriate for its goals, which are most obviously its appetites and its desires, which are not modest. It's immodest, selfish desires. So there's a struggle. We learned also that the Jewish people are called a congregation. The word for a congregation is a tzibur. Tzibur. Alexis, you know what it's, you heard, you're familiar with that, the idea about tzibur. Tzibur, the words of a tzibur, the letters make up 3 words. The tzaddik stands for righteous people, tzaddikim. The resh at the end stands for not so righteous people, but not yet righteous people. People who make mistakes. Oh, I didn't realize. And the base, tzibur, is for the in-between person, the beinonim. And we're going to learn about that now. Until now, we've been learning the last few days about the tzaddikim. That they're tzaddikim are not just, it's not such a simple thing to be a righteous person, because there's a quality of everything and there's a quantity of everything. In other words, when you do something, which of the 4 elements we didn't speak about the 4 elements. There are 4 elements that make up every physical thing, and they also make up our soul. And they are fire and water and air and earth. These are the basic elements in our character. The predominance of any one of these 4 elements will express itself in the way we think, the way we speak, the way we behave. And our goal is to refine the elements of our character so that they're all directed and focused on good things. And that makes for a beautiful, wonderful life. And the temptations of the animal soul, when the animal soul whispers in our ear and tells us, "Oh, they listen to me and you'll have a good time." Only he's not a truthful. It's not true what he says. Don't listen. What's the litmus test? How do you know if a thing crosses your path in life? If it's good or it's not good? Should I do it or should I not do it? Well, certain eight says, number one, ask your friends. If you have friends that you trust, who are good people, ask them. Ask your teachers. Your older brothers, older sisters, uncles, aunts, parents. Hopefully you get along with your parents. And consider what's the outcome. A wise person sees the outcome of things. Doesn't necessarily know what's going to happen, but he can pretty much guess according to what he's being asked of. Is this thing that's being presented to me by divine providence, is it good? Will it lead to good things? Will it lead to helping people? Will it lead to doing a mitzvah? Some people have trouble doing certain mitzvahs. They're just hard for them. They would like to do mitzvahs, but certain mitzvahs are, when that mitzvah is presented to them, they feel like they're under attack. They feel threatened. They can't bring themselves to do it. If this situation that's being presented to you from on high or from below will lead you to do a mitzvah that you have not done yet, or to lead to a mitzvah that you have done and you could do it better, or you have another chance to do it, then it's good. That's a good sign. If it leads to something good, it is good. Chances are it is good. That's how you can tell. But if it's not going to lead to something good, you're going to come home and say, I wish I hadn't had that hadn't gone to that Viennese table. I wish I hadn't gone to that concert. It really wasn't nice. I didn't like the people. I didn't like the way they behaved, Or I'm so happy that I went to Times Square, Motzi Shabbos, with all of the teams, the sing teams. That was a great experience. I came back so inspired. And you go to sleep, you say Kriya Shema before you go to bed, and you get up to say brachas the next morning, you're still on a spiritual excitement. So that's a good test. It's a good thing to do. All right. And we were learning, what we're getting at is that in the realm of tzaddikim, it's not such a simple thing to be a righteous person. There are righteous people and righteous people. And there are very, very righteous people, and they are not complete tzaddikim. They're still vestiges of the undesirable clinging to their character. It's not their fault. It's their challenge, but it's not their fault. And we learned just the last day we were together, the Talmud says there are 18,000 tzaddikim, righteous people, standing before Hashem all the time, from every generation, and maybe more. But they're not complete tzaddikim. But they are. So if you're not a complete tzaddik, what are you? Well, we learned in chapter 1 that there are 5 levels. There's tzaddikim, righteous people, not righteous people, and the beinanim, the intermediate people. What are the intermediate people? We didn't figure that out yet. We hinted at it. We spoke about it a little bit. A wicked person is really not in many cases, the wicked person does not look wicked at all. He looks very righteous. He is very righteous, or she is very righteous. She's not tzaddikus. But from time to time, he or she make a mistake. They make a mistake, do something that Hashem says you shouldn't do. So if you do something that Hashem says you shouldn't do, are you righteous or you're not righteous? You're not righteous. I mean, I'm a Rasha? I'm a wicked person? I don't want to be a wicked person. Shani. Your name comes up a lot in this week's Sedra. listing all the aspects of the building the Mishkan, anything with wool. One of the dyes of the world, Sheni is a crimson dye. So there are wicked people who are really good. Then there are some wicked people who are not so good. And there are wicked people who are really not very good at all. But a wicked person who's totally wicked, I never met. The Rebbe has a way of focusing on the good that's in every wicked person. And since he looks at it, he thinks about it, he awakens it in the heart of the person. And the person comes to see the Rebbe, gets $1 for charity, for tzedakah, and he goes away feeling that he's a holier person than he was before. And he's motivated. Because there are levels and levels and levels. So that we can have a righteous person who has some vestiges, some of not righteousness still left, but they're really not bad. There's nothing really bad about them. That just the goodness is a little covered over. But it never motivates the person to do anything bad. It's like in prison. It can't influence this person at all. So what's the righteous person who has good? That's the person who has more righteousness. Almost transformed all of his natural capacities into good. Your natural capacity is not necessarily good. Your natural capacity can hide godliness. A person could be a genius. But if he thinks he's a genius, he's not serving God. So we have the idea of tzaddikim who are not completely righteous, because the sign of a tzaddik who's righteous is that any negativity, any minute aspect of negativity in his or her character is converted to be good. Like a pawn in a chessboard that gets to the end and becomes a queen. The negativity becomes positivity. The person who is addicted becomes an inspiration, motivating other people that they don't have to be addicted, and so on. Now we're going to end up discussing more about the Rishayim, which is the opposite mirror image. They are basically self-centered, or they can be basically good, but there's not just vestiges of the not good qualities in their character, not just vestiges of it, but it's motivational. Motivates them. They're bad, the negative spirit, selfish qualities motivate them and cause them to do things and say things and think things that they regret. And there's a struggle. So it's not just the Beinoni who struggles, the wicked person also struggles. Wicked people are not happy. They're not happy with themselves. They're not happy with the way they behave. They're not happy with the thoughts that come crashing into their brain when they don't want them. They're not happy with the things that they say, stupid jokes that they make, the unkind thoughts, unkind words that they might say, the resentments, the anger. You lose your temper, you raise your voice. Afterwards, you're so sorry. Those are wicked people. They come under the category of Rishayim. So it's basically most people in the world. Somewhere on that scale. So what's the Beinoni? That's what we want to find out. This whole book is called the Book of the Beinoni. The Beinoni never, now this is not the truth. The Beinoni never does something wrong. never does something that Hashem wouldn't want him or her to do, never says anything wrong. So why aren't they righteous? Because they're not in control of the essence of their character. It's out of their control. And it keeps on popping up and misdirecting them. And when they notice that they're being misdirected, they push it away. No, I don't want that. They struggle. So that the Beinoni has within him strong inclinations for bad. But he never does it. He never gives in. His life is continuous struggle. The existentialist writers, if you ever look into them, they speak like that. But they don't admit that there's a purpose to it. That's the literature of the absurd. Why do we have to do good things that are for no purpose? It's not leading anywhere, according to the absurd. That's the absurdity. Hasidus is very different. Hasidus is on the contrary. The struggle is everything. For most people, that's a very lofty goal to achieve. The Beinoni is constantly struggling with his negativity and never gives up. Like Winston Churchill said at the beginning of the Second World War, when Germany was ready to attack England and take over. And Winston Churchill, I can't quote that speech. It's worth looking up, Said, we will fight them on the beaches. We will fight them on the playgrounds. We will fight them in the hills. We'll fight them in the valleys. But we will never, ever, ever will we give up. He rallied a nation, and that saved our people. Okay. Let's start at least a few lines. Chapter 10, chapter 11. I appreciate that you're all here on time, This is like a record. Because most years it starts off strong, and then gradually people stop coming on time. And that means we have to go very, very slow. If you think we're going slow this year, it's even slower because we have to go back and repeat and say the same things over and over and over again. So I indulge, since we're starting like a whole new chapter now after Purim, to do a quick summary of all the we see how many different elements we've discussed and covered, which require a lot of thought, a lot of consideration, a lot of internalization. To take that idea that we started with, that every person has to know that they have a holy neshama, which is a part of God above, really. We have to think about that a lot, because it's hard to understand. If God is infinitely good and creates everything in an infinitely good way, how can I, with my not exactly pure, clean garments, connect? How can I connect? It's like putting a round peg in a square hole, or vice versa. All right. So we learned about the tzaddik, we learned about the Rosh, and now, page 165, a very, very important key idea. See those three words? Zeh li'uma zeh. Hashem creates in this world one thing opposite the other, corresponding and opposite. Rosh Hashanah, we learned that there's a regular kind of person, makes mistakes, commits transgressions. Oh, this drop of milk fell in the children. What am I going to do now? Rabbi, help me. I slept in, I missed the class. I forgot to say a bracha achrona. I forgot what I didn't learn Chumash today. So that's the Rasha who does a lot of good deeds, a lot of mitzvahs. Rasha v'toivlei. Leumas tzaddik v'ralo, he is the opposite mirror image of the tzaddik who's 100%, almost, maybe 95%, completely 95% righteous, and there's something, 5% of something is left, almost intangible wickedness that has not been converted to good. So we have the two opposites. The tzaddik who has a little negativity left, and the Rasha who has basically goodness in him and a little evil. Okay, what does it mean? The Hainu, second paragraph, page 165. Shahatev shebenafshay, that the good that's in his soul, from his godly soul, shebemoiche, where is the godly soul? It's in your brains. Your brains are receptive to godliness. Receptive because the highest level of your brains is Chachma, and Chachma has no sense of selfness, selfhood. Self being aware of oneself hides the rest of life. Hides other people, hides your feelings for others, hides your compassion, hides godliness, makes you aware of yourself. Person gives a speech about Torah, and afterwards it's a successful speech, and he feels good with himself. What's his self sticking into everything? Spring. He should feel about God. He gave a whole speech about God. He should come out inspired to serve God. No, he comes out inspired that he did something good. You understand? So the good that is in the divine soul, which is in this wicked person, he has a divine soul, and it motivates him to do good and to think good and to be good. And it finds its place in his brain, and it goes from his brain down the back of his neck, from the spinal cord, to the heart. And from the heart, which part of the heart? The right side of the heart. You have two sides of your heart. You have the right side of your heart, the left side of your heart. So therefore the Torah tells us in the Shema, you shall love Hashem with all your heart, Lashon Rabin, plural. With both sides, that extra vase there tells you that it's with both sides of your heart. In other words, it's normal for you to love God with your the godliness that's in you. It's not so normal to love God with the animal soul that is only interested in self-satisfaction. So, what are we saying? That the godly soul, which is in the brain and comes in and expresses itself in the right side of the heart, right? It is kafov. It's not free. It's tied down. Ubotel, and it's botel. That is botel means, what does botel mean? Botel means has no control of itself. It's like a prisoner. It's like a servant. It's subjugated legabe hara, compared to the selfishness of the human animal soul, the vital soul, that's on the left side of his heart. And where the godly soul comes from the brain, the animal soul comes from klippa. That's another term we became very familiar with. What is klippa? Klippa is the hiding of God, just like the orange, the peel on the orange, or the peel on the banana hides the fruit. Why do we have to have klippa If klippa is the problem, why do we need it? And the answer is because if there's no klippas, there's no choice. You have no free choice. If godliness is, you see godliness like someone's holding a gun to your head and says, you're going to give charity, right? Right. Sure, 100%. No, the animal soul is there to say, no, you need this. You need this. You need to buy a new pair of shoes. You need to buy a new dress. You need to buy a chocolata, 7-layer cake. So the godly soul is buffalo to the klippa, the divine, which is the source of energy in the animal soul, which is shubaholo hasmoli in the left side of his heart. Okay, we're going to stop here because it's time. Lezem is chalek gamkein l'rivaves medreges halukes. Just like we saw that the godly soul in the tzaddik and in the, well, we didn't see the Beinoni yet, subdivides into tens of thousands of levels. So how much more so in the animal soul, there are hundreds of thousands of levels. And we devote our lives to expressing, making room in our life for the good levels. Thank you very much. Now we have to remember to say bracha achrona. Thank you for the milk. Morning. So Rebbe says, anybody needs to make a bracha achrona, they should remember surely to make a bracha achrona. A wonderful day. It's still Adar. Today, by the way, is a very special day. I should tell you all the bracha because today is the day 50 years ago that our family was blessed with a baby boy. Slid in Little Rock, Arkansas. Gone to yeshiva, started a yeshiva there. The boys basically were homeschooled, everybody away from home. They were capable and needed to learn on a higher level, and they could get it at home, but they were too young to leave home. That's all. 318, you're going to call for the 3 It's always go from the 6. Started out with 6 kids. And they got a dormitory in the basement. I said to him after a very successful year, I said, can you meet people like this? He says, yes, I don't want it to grow. But I think this is the future of Jewish education. Every shliach should be doing this. So, I'm happy. This year, we had 40 places, 40 boys. And unfortunately, 40 boys could not come, but there were 80 applications. It's not just for boys who are homeschooled, it will be boys here in Crown Heights. But I'm assuming the good Jewish community, but because they're not flourishing. We need a kind of environment in order to continue to flourish the business. And anyway, so it's a blessing from the money of Adar, which is a happy month, a healthy month, and anything that's unresolved in your personal lives, go for it. You'll be successful. Everything is working together with you. Even says if you have a dispute in court, you want to fight a ticket or something like that, do it now. Yeah. No, it was fair. There you go. I do, but I was going to go outside. So like, I want to be outside. Literally. Let me get a photo. I'm not sure if somebody wants to sense. Oh, yeah. You're sweet. Should I hire you? You should not be strong. Feel good about yourself from your speech. When you get over, when you're motivated and inspired, you should not like then feel good about yourself. You feel good about strength and inspire yourself rather than feel good about yourself and actually inspire others. Which is really cute. I really go, oh no, yeah, maybe I don't I just don't understand. I was my mom's okay. Yes. That's the main thing. If you have a couple girls, then you're good. It's